In the Epic of Gilgamesh, one of the most famous ancient Mesopotamian texts, there is an episode where the hero seeks the plant of eternal youth. This chapter is found in Tablet 11 of the Epic, created in 2800 BC. So, Gilgamesh was the first recorded diver, more than 4,000 years ago. The cuneiform script on clay tablets recorded his dive underwater to snatch a magical plant. After Gilgamesh's long and arduous journey, he finally reaches the waters of death and meets Utnapishtim, the only human granted immortality by the gods. Utnapishtim's wife tells Gilgamesh about a special plant that grows underwater, which has the power to restore youth. Driven by his desire to overcome death and achieve immortality, Gilgamesh decides to retrieve this vegetal. He weighs himself down with rocks and dives into the riverbed to find the plant. Despite the challenges and the pain caused by the plant's thorns, he manages to retrieve it. Gilgamesh believes that it will allow him to regain his youth and live forever. However, before Gilgamesh can return to his city, Uruk, the plant is stolen by a serpent while he is bathing. This loss symbolizes the inevitability of death and the futility of seeking eternal life through material means. Gilgamesh learns that true immortality lies not in physical longevity, but in the lasting impact of one's deeds and the legacy left behind. This episode highlights the themes of mortality, the quest for eternal life, and the acceptance of human limitations. It also underscores the importance of wisdom and the understanding that some things, like death, are beyond human control. The plant of eternal youth in the Epic of Gilgamesh is often referred to as the old man becomes a young man plant. According to the myth, this plant has the power to rejuvenate and restore youth to anyone who consumes it, is described as having thorns, and it grows underwater. The quest for eternal youth is a recurring theme in various mythologies around the world. Here are a few notable examples of plants of eternal youth. In Norse mythology, the goddess Idun keeps golden apples that grant the gods eternal youth. Without these fruits, the gods would age and lose their strength. In Egyptian and Hindu mythologies, the lotus flower is associated with rebirth and eternal life. It is often depicted in scenes of creation and renewal. In Greek and Roman mythologies, the mandrake root is believed to have magical properties, including the ability to restore youth and health. Another version of the immortality theme is the Fountain of Youth. This legendary spring is said to restore youth to anyone who drinks or bathes in its waters. The myth became particularly popular in the 16th century, and is often associated with the Spanish explorer Juan Ponce de León. He heard rumors from the indigenous people about a magical spring with waters that could restore youth. In 1513 he set sail from Puerto Rico to explore the coast of America, believing it to be the location of the fountain. He landed on the coast of what is now Florida, near present-day St. Augustine, and named the region La Florida due to its lush vegetation, and because he arrived during the Easter season, Pascua Florida in Spanish. Unfortunately, there is no historical evidence that Ponce de León found something. In Persian and Arabic legends, Alexander the Great searches for the water of life, a magical spring that grants immortality. In Indian mythology, Amrit is the divine nectar that grants immortality to those who consume it. It is often associated with the gods and their eternal life. In the same register, Youth Without Aging is a beautiful story from European folklore, revolving around a king and queen who are unable to have children. Finally, they find an old mage who gives them a cure. The child who is born cries so much that the whole kingdom is in despair. The king promises the child empires and an emperor's daughter as a future wife, but the child continues to cry until the king promises eternal youth and immortality. Having reached adulthood, the child reminds the king of the promise. As the promise cannot be fulfilled, the prince sets out on a journey to find eternal youth and immortality. He faces challenges, including defeating mythical beings and overcoming wild beasts, before finally reaching a beautiful, enchanted grove. This forest is unlike any place he has seen before, filled with vibrant, otherworldly flora and an aura of magic. Here, he encounters 3 fairies, who are guardians of the secrets of eternal youth and life without death. Recognizing the prince's courage and determination, the fairies decide to grant him his wish. Each fairy contributes to his transformation, bestowing upon him the gifts of eternal youth and immortality. They guide him through the rituals and enchantments necessary to achieve these divine attributes. After receiving the blessings of the fairies, the prince lives in a state of perpetual happiness. He enjoys the tranquility and beauty of the enchanted realm, free from the worries and pains of mortal life. However, his story does not end here. Eventually, he grows curious about the world he left behind. Despite the warnings of the fairies, he decides to return to his father's kingdom. He discovers that centuries have passed, and everything he knew has changed. The weight of time catches up with him, and he realizes that true immortality is intertwined with the natural cycle of life and death. Because while the pursuit of eternal youth is alluring, true fulfillment comes from embracing the impermanence and beauty of life.